Playwright's Irish Pub in New York City. Early, the crowd got fired up to see CLG claim first place in anticipation of a showdown with Team SoloMid tomorrow. We'll see if we can keep pace. And we'll see if TSM, rather, can keep pace. It's our next match, Gravity versus Team SoloMid. Last week, Gravity were defeated by CLG, and now they're facing the other #1 team.
Yeah, and Saint tweeted after that loss that the team's coordination issues were on display in their failed attempt to take Baron, where he was executed when his team failed to back him up. Saint started the day with the most deaths for a jungler with 28. You contrast that with Santorin, who he's tied for least deaths with only 10. And it starts to look like a lopsided matchup between the jungle. But one thing to watch out for in this match is Keen. He has something of a wild card here for Gravity in the mid lane. And when he matches up against Bjergsen, he may lose in a straight show of strength. But, I mean, who hasn't versus Bjergsen?
This is true.
If Keen could bring something new and throw Bjergsen off his game, it could give Gravity an advantage. Because when I've talked to them, they say, they call him Keen the Machine. Because he's always sitting there grinding something in solo queue.
Yeah, something random.
Random, right? He's like, I'm going to throw this at you, and hopefully it's a counter pick. And then he plays everything into almost everything else. And then he's like, okay, Urgot works well here. Hecarim works against melees, things like that. And he's one of the only people who knows those matchups.
He's one of those guys that just ruins solo queue for everyone else. Bjergsen, however, has been playing at the top of his game, if you've been watching, and making a case to reclaim his MVP title after he took down Xiao, the defending MVP from the summer split in straight 1v1s.
Yeah, Bjergsen's been looking really good this season. He started the day with the highest kill participation, the second most kills in the league, and the highest KDA. It's the only time that a person has had the highest KDA and kill participation in the first 6 games. He's playing both safe and aggressive at the same time. And the rest of the team are all on the same page. But like we said with CLG, this is a trap game. And they can't get caught looking to CLG tomorrow at the risk of getting surprised today. Yeah, even in his interview with Dyrus, when we asked him, and I think back, you asked him actually, what's he thinking coming into this Gravity game? And he immediately started talking about CLG. He was like, I'm looking at Sunday, not at Saturday.
Are you guys going to get caught by Gravity? No. We're looking at CLG.
But the CLG match.
So let's see if they can do it after a quick look at the starting lineups. On the blue side, this game, it will be Gravity. That's Haunter in the top lane, St. Vicious in the jungle, Keen the Machine in the mid lane, Cop at AD carry, and the foo-fooest of bunnies at support.
And on the red side, it's Team SoloMid. Dyrus in the top lane, Santorin in the jungle, Bjergsen in mid lane, Wild Turtle on AD carry, and Lustboy on support. Have you seen that guy's Twitter? It is hilarious.
No, I haven't seen it, actually. So seeing, who is it? Can't think now. Wild Turtle come into this game. He's actually near the bottom of CS for AD carries. Number 9, then Piglet. Piglet obviously hasn't that many games, so Wild Turtle's actually been not having the greatest time in lane. However, his mid laner Bjergsen is at number 1 right now. So just as Phoenix was last game, we'll probably see that mid dominance, see Bjergsen going hard in the middle part of the game, and I'll be really interested to see if they can shut him down. Because even you said Keen's the way to get Gravity going, so it's going to be a great mid lane matchup.
It is very dangerous, though, because if Keen goes on something and tries to have that straight display of power versus Bjergsen, Bjergsen's pretty much the king at solo killing right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty much team solo kill.
I remember I was in the production room the other day, and somebody's like, you don't see a lot of solo kills in LCS. I was like, no, you usually don't, actually.
That's why it's such a big feat.
Bjergsen's going crazy right now. It's kind of like when he first came over, that first spring split Bjergsen we saw when he first joined Team SoloMid, making plays, not afraid to do things, and still being able to do that now. There was a bit of a lull there. The team's coming together nicely. As we enter into picks and bans for Gravity versus Team SoloMid here to round out Week 4, Day 1, it is Ari and Corki actually being banned out since Keen and both Cop love to take that.
And Bjergsen's such a consistent mid laner that they can kind of rely on him in almost any situation, but I know TSM internally are like, we don't want to have to rely on Bjergsen every game.
Yeah.
Do we have a fallback plan? But right now, plan A is just working every time. That in the future, if somebody starts getting onto Bjergsen with a jungle gank with a ton of pressure and he gets shut down, Team SoloMid are going to have to be in a situation where they're like, who can step up in this moment? Right now, it looks like Wild Turtle would be the person, but with Santorin being one of those supporty junglers, he'd have to facilitate the early game. It's really rough for them if Bjergsen gets behind. That's the only thing here.
So with, obviously, the Nidalee ban being going into the jungle, possibly, Bjergsen just got 3 directed at him.
Yep.
That's pretty powerful. A lot of resources used there to take him out of the game, and he may still have a comfort pick left up here. We still see that we could have a Lissandra, maybe not banned out there. We saw, I believe, Phoenix take that into the mid lane. The coach is pondering for the pick here.
Yeah, Nidalee was actually banned against Bjergsen in week 1 by Cloud9, and then he never played it. He just sat around and was like, yeah, I'll just play Xerath every game, which is still up for him this game, so they're going to take that away from him. 14.
Yep. So that gets locked in. Gravity feels good about that. Keen the Machine's going to be firing from the back line this time, and he seems pretty happy, so that's always good to see coming in. Loco Doco now talking with Team SoloMid and with the Lissandra up. I can't see why not.
Yeah, if Lissandra's up, you pick it. It's a 100% win rate right now in the NALCS. Yeah. And I don't know if Team SoloMid are going to be the first loss. We'll have to see. But they banned out all the champions that he has played this season in the mid lane for Bjergsen, and they banned out the Nidalee just in case. Then they took the Xerath away. So not a lot of poke champions left in the mid lane. Jace, but he's not meta right now. They're going to have to go with something else. We're going to see Bjergsen on a different champion this game than we have all season.
Really looking forward to it because Gravity just got some very high priority pickups, especially in the jungle on that one. And the Maokai coming back now that he is back in play has been seeing quite a bit of play. Even Dyrus has taken that to the top lane, so this time we'll see Hanser with it.
Yeah, it's, they picked up the J4 and the Maokai on Gravity's side.
Yeah.
And Maokai is a very big Hanser champion right there. He plays that a whole bunch back when he was in Challenger as well. But this is a composition that's rounding out to be partial engage with Xerath standing in the backline, and you have frontline threats so that they can't get to Xerath, the peeling. Team SoloMid are going full dive. You're going to be able to reach this Xerath if you have 3 people being sent at them, and you only have 2 peelers.
More.
Doesn't matter. Vi or Kassadin would have worked in this situation.
Right.
There's no rush to lock
well,
either
you still
of them
have the ability to get Kassadin.
And then you take a disengaged support on top of that, so you deny Gravity the Janna pick themselves for support, so they can't disengage your dive.
Really smart picks and bans here, actually coming from both sides to get strong ones. But now this is where it whittles down to if you make that wrong pick, the other team gets what they want. Gravity hovering over Varus here. I don't think that's something that Cop's going to be playing this game. He does still have a few other options. We're looking for when TSM gets their pick back, possibly that mid laner for Bjergsen if he doesn't take the Lissandra, or a top laner. Gravity answering what they see so far, and like you said, it's going to be a picks for a lot of the comps, so they need some safety.
Yeah, speaking of safety, he's pretty much played Corki every time that it's up for Cop, so this is actually a different pick for him here.
Safety indeed.
He's only gone Corki and Callista, and he doesn't want to go Corki because it's not damage intensive enough. And it's too pokey to be alongside the Xerath. They would be really heavy on their siege. All eggs in that basket. But I do like the Braum.
The Braum's good.
I do like the Braum here. He could have gone with the Thresh, the Bunny Fufu style champion.
Yeah.
But the Braum lock-in is really good. It's going to give them a lot of lane pressure here, on top of having the extra damage reduction and the shield. So
would really like to see the Orianna. That was almost locked in. As it was hovered, it could be the Twisted Fate here. It'd be interesting if he can get the dodges in necessary. That would be big harass that he could get onto King in the mid lane.
Yeah, they hovered a Kassadin previously for the dive, but these are a dime a dozen in Assassin mid laners. He's got his hands together. He's like, oh, I'm ready. Warming up those hands. Warming up those fingers so you can just be like, all over the keyboard, and that's how you play Zed.
Sure. Just with your face?
Yep.
Get all those keys into one.
He'd be warming his face up.
We've seen Bjergsen actually take Zed when it was left open. When it was at Worlds, and it was almost a trick. He kind of led himself astray into some bad situations. I don't think that's obviously going to happen here. He feels very comfortable at his play so far, and plays will probably be made on this Zed as Bjergsen rounds out the composition now for Team SoloMid.
They go full dive on this full get that back line after Gravity drafted 2 frontliners for themselves that are moderate peel, but this team is still going to get to you, and if they can't get to you and you go on them, Janna disengages, you wait the cooldowns, you go back in. This team has a lot going for them. They just have to avoid getting poked out by Keen and letting Gravity have the position on sieges. This team still actually doesn't suffer from what Team 8 had, where they don't have wave clear.
Wave clear.
Lissandra, they have great wave clear there. Ricochet from Sivir, a lot of ranged wave clear here, so they don't fall into that pitfall.
Well, we may see the lane swap coming into this game. Knowing that Turtle has low CS, Lustboy loves to be able to roam as much as possible once he gets that Janna, so it's definitely a possibility there. And Cop as well has been vocal about, yeah, I don't 2v2, man. I farm. a lane swap. That's how things happen. So both teams may actually find themselves meeting each other as the coaches get the handshake underway. We're just about to get into game, so remember to share your predictions for this game by tweeting hashtag GVWin or hashtag TSMWin to @LOL Esports. We'll be tallying up your votes throughout the game and see who you are backing for this one. Definitely our last game of the day, so both teams ready and raring to go. They've been watching the play previously happen, some very fast games. So maybe we'll see if they're trying to replicate that one. Week 4, game 5, and we are on the Rift.
Yeah, this is a composition, though, for TSM that if you get an early lead, you can snowball it like no other. If Lissandra gets going, you spill it over. If Zed gets going, you spill that over. If even Santorin gets some kills, you can just rush items on Vi, be like, oh, Train D4, it's time to go for the squishies every time, and one-shot them throughout the mid-game, then get tanky later. Yeah. This is a composition that can actually end a game fairly quickly if it gets off the ground early. Gravity's, on the other hand, is really reliant on Keen.
And Santorin himself, he's found a kindred spirit in fellow Dane Bjergsen, and he says their shared background has helped him slide right into the team.
It's really nice to have a Dane on my team because when I came to North America, it was only Bjergsen who was actually a Dane in North America. So when I came, I talked to him sometimes, but it's not like we met in person and stuff because I lived in Vegas with Coast and he's in California. So when I got on his team, it's really nice because we have like the same interests and we like the same stuff. And it just feels like he's like a brother to me. So it's really nice.
Like the same stuff?
Yep.
League of Legends.
Yeah.
Pretty sure everybody like that. But I like that they have their backs, and the Great Dane combo here has set themselves up for a dive buddy system. They can go in, they have each other's backs in this game, even if their backs are going to be against the front line of Gravity. They're on the back line.
They will definitely be diving in as Bash Bros. It's always good to see compositions come out like this. You're definitely guaranteed action as you get into that level 6 portion of the game. Here we see Gravity playing it pretty simple and easy, but they're going to try to get a little something extra out of this.
Bjergsen's, oh, this is actually really good. If he starts messing with this level 1, it's pretty big, but he's not going to.
Oh, I see what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
if
you can mess with that level 1 pretty easily. If you just walk up, Zed has an execute on it, extra damage. But they're actually going to take this whole side of the jungle. They lane swap it for Gravity. Gravity sends Cop top. And now Bunny Fufu gets to walk around and basically accomplish very little at this point.
Yeah.
He has to just stay in lane. And the double jungle for Santorin and Dyrus. I actually like this for TSM because the fact we were talking about how Wild Turtle's CS at 10 is not that fantastic.
Right, he kind of focus.
He gets a free lane. He gets to sit around and get CS for himself. Dyrus gets to double jungle with Santorin, and these guys are actually set up for success here in their composition because these are champions that only need like 1 or 2 items to function. They don't need to get very tanky. They just need some damage and then to play well and not get caught out and instead play as a team.
And looking at that, as they stole it, Dyrus grabbed that first blue. So that goes to Lissandra on this one. This obviously clears the jungle so much faster. He can just shoot Qs out all the time. These guys are through camps like nothing.
Yeah, Santorin doesn't even have to use that much mana in his first clear because of the denting blows that he gets to do whatever he wants to walk through. Dyrus with the blue, though, is going to help him clearing waves and last hitting up top when he TPs up there. Or if they go for a dive on Hansard, we'll have to see. Doesn't look like it, though.
I was going to say, that would be intense. That would be really headstrong. Now, vote is 92% in favor of TSM. 90% votes, they have a curse. Be careful. See good pressure from Keen here in the mid lane. See if they can keep this strength going.
That's the thing, though, is Zed doesn't have a lot of tools early on to punish the Xerath pick. So I really like the Xerath pick to deny it from Bjergsen because he just has had consistently good performances on that champion this split. And now he's put on the Zed, and he's going up against this pokey heavy champion in the mid lane. And Keen actually just counter builds and starts with a Cloth 5 against Bjergsen. That's how scared he is of this matchup. Yeah, not going to be easy to take those shurikens in the face constantly. They also may not have to worry about that second blue. Santorin could be taking those since Bjergsen is on that energy run champion this game. Bunny Fufu forced to stay up here with Cop.
with this being a Morgana or something else, we've seen Bunny Fufu on level 2 roams around the map towards the mid lane, trying to blow that flash. Not as effective with the Braum, so they're kind of avoiding that this game, and TSM may have dodged that through the picks and bans.
Yeah. He's trying to go full defensive here because of the dive comp, so they were reacting to the team that TSM were drafting for themselves. And I actually like the fact that Bjergsen hovered a Kassadin, because then he goes, you know what? This is a possibility. We could go full dive on you. And then he locks in the Zed because he wanted more physical damage to round it out.
A little bit safer on the out as well. Just take that last shadow. Haunter not having too much fun, but keep an eye on this as well, that Wild Turtle's not missing too much of that CS behind him. Could be attributing to that low CS score. Almost. So close. So close.
Yeah. You saw the swirly on Lustboy.
Yeah, are you serious?
He's got that one CS.
He did get it. Very nice. I didn't see the relic sheets that
Valentine's
fly to
Day,
him.
Raptors can't resist the Lustboy. They got to go for him.
There you go. Got it. Haunter trying to play it safe, knowing that Lustboy was just in the jungle. He's not even approaching anything. Farming with saplings right now for himself, but he's only got 1 level in that. Still getting the Arcane Smash leveled up regularly.
And now Saint's going for a little bit of an invade here. He does have very mild information. Oh. Yep. I swapped it around. That's his own.
His own.
GG.
He wants his own.
Yeah. But he's getting the smite on it so that he doesn't get invaded on. And Santorin walking across the bottom. They have 3 people strong in this bottom lane, but we've seen a lot of dives go bad in the past.
This is actually really well put together here by Team SoloMid. Janna, Lustboy just being in the jungle, already sweeping things out, so this is safe for Santorin. They've calculated this for quite some time.
See if Santorin goes for it here. It is going to be a dive onto Haunter. He has his flash.
He can twisted advance it. No, he twisted advance to Q damage. There still could be enough follow-up, but that's what he needed to do to make it last longer. Unfortunately, nobody else is there to pick up the slack, but TSM.
They went to dive school, though. They took the perfect amount of hits that each person could.
No, that was good.
And then Santorin doesn't take aggro, doesn't have to flash away. None of that. And they pick up that first blood.
Oh, first blood's getting the crowdy rowdy. They already got a chant going on. We can see Bunny Fufu and Cop trying to push up here and add a little bit of pressure to the top lane. Dyrus is playing it so safe, though. This isn't something that's calling Santorin up. It's not making TSM react to anything just yet. They are perfectly fine where they are. And we'll see this once again. Haunter just twists. Very nice.
There's no sound on it because
it's very quiet.
It blew our ears out there. Boom!
Yeah.
Got him!
So it's actually
really
a frequency we can't hear.
Yeah. It just... when the game's muted, nobody can hear Haunter scream.
This is true. So out of the base and into the inventories, we see a Cutlass now for Bjergsen, a BF sword onto Wild Turtle, so those waves are going to get cut down even more, and it looks like he kind of wants to match the lane up. But Cop and Bunny Fufu read that nicely, even without the turrets going down, and they're going to head actually down to the bottom lane, seeing Dyrus there kind of give it away.
They swap it back, they want to get that top turret.
That's the kind of stuff I was talking about. If he was doing that on TF, you're just beating somebody down, but obviously it's Zed. He's still dodging it out, and he didn't even go boots first.
He's still scaling up, though, on that Zed. He only needs that one item, the Blade of the Ruined King, to be extremely effective in this game. And Keen is building so defensively, and is actually behind in CS to the Zed this early on. Went Cloth 5, still getting bullied out. Something you don't always see.
Nope.
Go for defensive start. It usually pays off, but he went overly defensive.
Yeah.
Just respecting Bjergsen.
This is true. Maybe hopefully get the poke in necessary to get some kills in these dragon fights we're going to be seeing soon. But other than that, we'll see if Keen can get himself charged up. Now with the blue, he'll be able to sit in mid lane and farm it out. Bjergsen, like I said, that #1 at 10 for CS already has a nice lead here on 2 Keen. Dyrus back down, as we said, to the bottom lane. He'll keep that safe. He's also ahead of Haunter at this point in the CS, even with the lane swaps going on. Something TSM works very well at.
Speaking of Haunter, though, he's in this top lane. Santorin wards it up. Wolf Spirit's coming for him, and he sees the pink ward. So Haunter's going to have to back off this, and they might just pummel this turret down.
I like that idea of a pink ward, right? You kind of give him the I want to take out the pink ward / they know I'm being seen. He gets out safe. Santorin gets a pink ward. I guess the pink ward's worth your life, right? You're able to get out. That's the whole idea of wards. Turret goes down in the top lane as TSM starts to grab even more control And Keen not really following up that damage as he was on cooldown, unfortunately.
Couldn't throw anything out there, but he's getting some damage on Bjergsen. Bjergsen does have the Bilge Water and potions. He's going to back.
Ooh.
Get himself Brutalizer, but here, look at this.
Whoa, Haunter a little too close for his own good. Gets the Twisted Advance again. Beautiful job, that mindset to get back under the turret to deliver more damage to his opponents. He has the Storm Shield. He'll be safe, and these turret dives look so nice. Lustboy just out of range, and he has to go for another shot. TSM making some great moves around the map, and they pull Keen out of the mid lane for this too.
Lustboy, you can't see him, and you can't touch him either.
Nope.
So far, just right off the range of that. Look at this. Keen is trying to work this map, and it's just not working out in his favor, and he just gave Bjergsen pressure to shove this in and go wherever he likes now.
Can't blame him. He's definitely got to try to make some moves for the team. We've already seen Haunter now go down twice. So he's not going to be the tank they need him to be at the right time. He may get there eventually, but TSM may have too big of a hold on this game already by that point.
And when I talked about this in the early game, and I talked about how Bjergsen is usually the carry of TSM,
yeah,
and that's their plan A, is get Bjergsen fed, it's not this game. This game, it's pick on Haunter, and Wild Turtle is actually coming up pretty big in this early game. So they're going with a slightly different strategy instead of focusing the mid lane, because it's really hard to get to King Xerath. He has the barrier, he has the flash. It would take a lot of effort to get a kill on him early, so they're just going to let Bjergsen scale, and they're going to upset this side lane and that top lane so that he's not tanky, and if he peels, he's still squishy for the TSM squad that's going to triple dive you.
Well, still looking at what TSM can do on this one. The focus top lane, well, not looking at what TSM can do, look what they did do with that focus top lane. Gravity took Dragon, so they did get first stack on that with the kills in that top. Something that TSM will have to focus on. They did let 3 Dragons go to the wayside in game 1 of the split versus C9s. We know they're not exactly that afraid to let these happen.
Oh, Lustboy out of position.
Yeah, that's the one time that warding gets scary, is when you're alone.
Even when, like last game, we saw 2 people go for warding, it's still scary.
It's still a little scary.
You don't have vision there, and you just saw people in the vicinity. Wild Turtle, what are you doing?
No! This even gets scarier here. Looks like they're trying to deliver a little more. That's the ultimate. The teleport's going to be coming in, however, from Dyrus here. That's a full lockup on the team, but he may have gotten himself into I think I can situation, and he may be thinking differently at this point. Claws himself out of that one, but he goes for the flash! The concussive hit! Cop to finish! Oh, he gets the Storm Shield as well as the shield from the inner turret. Unfortunate series of events for Gravity, and TSM get out with the skin of their teeth.
Lustboy flashed for that too.
Yeah.
He flashed into range to make sure that he could get the Storm Shield on.
Whew. That's a bromant right there. It's definite bromant from Lustboy. Great save onto his player. And it looks like TSM, with all of that, everything resource focused from Gravity in the bottom lane, they know Gravity has backed, and TSM gets a little bit of pressure onto mid. Haunter now joining with the team. So good movement by Gravity to actually see that was happening. I did not think they were going to make it there in time.
Yeah, you get 1 pick on Wild Turtle, and then you get the stragglers. People were just too far. You get the pick on Lustboy, then you get Wild Turtle. Just everybody kind of trickling into that. Haunter with the TP wasn't necessary, but it does reward them with the turret, which closes this gold gap a little bit. TSM keep doing this style where they're like, okay, we're good with giving up early dragons to you because we're going to go get a turret. And that gives them a lot more gold, gives them what they need to snowball. And dragons, like we keep saying this all the time, dragons are not that important unless it's the last dragon. Really, just they cannot be. So they surely can't be that important or that high on people's priority lists that you sacrifice a turret for it. That's true. So much pressure.
It's true. The pressure, the vision that you move into, and we actually saw teams today already taking huge control of that. Liquid to be one of them. TSM now taking a little bit more control of the map as well themselves. Wild Turtle, he has the vision easily to be down here in the bottom lane. Looks like he's going to be able to stay safe.
Vision allows him to be in that bottom lane because he knows that nobody is coming for him. And he's safe. Hopefully he doesn't do what he just did a second ago and walk straight up.
So true. So seeing Cop get with the team again is good. I actually, when that just happened, he went to a solo lane. I was going to say, we know Cop for kind of going to the solo lanes for farming, but at 2-0, that's something the team needs now in the fights.
Yeah, as soon as he picks up that Infinity Edge, he wants to stay for a little more CS in this mid lane so he can hit that spike and then they can push together because he's going to hit that before Wild Turtle.
definitely be able to output the damage as well with the buckshot and collateral damage from the front end burst. 1 minute and 20 onto Dragon, and that's when we may see it. Like we've been saying, that's kind of putting a timer on this early game of when teams really want to engage. They want to make sure they're up and they have the majority of their skills for Dragon.
Yeah, and speaking of majority of skills, Wild Turtle has more levels than Cop by 2 at this point.
Wow.
They are putting so much into him. The 2 kills are on him, or sorry, the 1 kill is on him, the assist as well.
Yeah.
And he's just been solo lane farming for a while. Lustboy is just roaming around giving shields. Turtle's actually relatively close to that level 11, and if he keeps farming, he might be able to hit it right before this Dragon.
Be a nice burst. Unfortunately, it's not a ton of damage to the ultimate, or any, I should say. Just adding more utility.
Yeah.
But the team, with the way they can jump, they can move and disengage and engage the fight. It would be huge. Keen will have a hard time hitting shots, everything pretty much from the side of shots on
It's even
Gravity.
scarier when people don't have Boots 2 completed on a majority of the enemy team.
Good call.
You chase them down so quickly.
So this looks like it's going to be mid-turret here for Gravity. They get no contest from Team SoloMid because, like we said, they want to make sure they're up and ready for Dragon. That turret may have gone down in favor of Gravity, but I think this one may go in favor of Team SoloMid. Lustboy may try to get the Monsoon peeling. Actually, he just runs around on this one. They're playing a little bit of a mini game. Who can they kill first and then focus next? It's going to be Bunny Fufu. That's him going down. A double kill for Wild Turtle. He hits 500 career kills on the game, and that's going to be a double kill as well for Cop. TSM move in and trade 3 for 2, actually.
Bjergsen on the flank, and they immediately pushed them into somebody you don't want to be up against. Basically, you're between a Rock and a Bjergsen.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be between either.
No, you don't. Wild Turtle slicing his way into the record books with that one nicely. 500 kills, so he's got to be feeling good. 5-4 on this game so far, so a little bit closer in the kill scheme of things. That means Gravity could start getting a few more of what they need, a little bit of what they need in these fights, rather, as we're approaching 20 minutes. Dragon's still alive, which I'm surprised the fight wasn't really for Dragon. It was Gravity kind of moving their way down to Dragon.
They immediately blow up St. Vicious, adding another death to his death toll. But then look at this, Bjergsen onto Bunny Fufu.
Boom.
Doesn't even care that it's a Braum, and then immediately goes in onto Cop, and then he gets out. Very slick play there on the Zed. But I like the fact that he was in position to execute that move before they started the fight. He positioned himself in a way that they could actually take that fight in the manner that they did and capitalize on the positioning of Gravity. Because where do you put your backline when you're being flanked by a Zed? You put them right in the middle, it's still much easier to get to.
And that was Cop getting a double kill before he went down, which means Bjergsen got a 4-kill shutdown. Now he could himself go down, but he gets into the fight real fast before he goes down. He gets as much damage as he can. Another double kill coming in for Cop, putting up big damage this game. Now 6-1-1.
They just blew up Santorin.
What just happened?
And Bjergsen. The Great Danes hit the floor, and that was crazy. King comes up, and as soon as he shows, Cop turns around, lets it rip, lets them have everything. And that's going to be another Dragon for Gravity.
Wow. A very quick turn of events there. Seeing this game going mostly the favor of Team SoloMid. That pressure back off the fight. Gravity, and they're just coming out of base, right? Gravity came out of base, and they went straight for Dragon with no regard.
Yeah, but watch this right here. Cop just turns around, throws everything into them, and it hits Dyrus and Bjergsen, and then they turn on to Santorin.
You see Lustboy and Wild Turtle like, we want none of this. Nope. No thank you.
Keen at the right place at the right time to back up his team, and TSM took a fight instead of taking Dragon.
Yeah. So mid does go down. TSM's able to open up the map a little bit more. However, with the control of the map they've had, no dragons just yet. Yeah. So I think they're kind of not doing things on their own, but not communicating when they're doing things.
It did look like they had communication there coming into the Dragon, but it just wasn't the right play because they didn't respect that Keen was going to be there.
Okay.
And they just went, we're going to blow him up. We're just going to blow this guy up. And then Dyrus was on top of it too. This is a relatively squishy team, right? This team relies on a Zonia on Dyrus in the late game, and Santorin getting to a point where he gets defensive with his build right after his warriors. So right now they're still relatively squishy, and Gravity's going to get very tanky. So these fights are going to be explosive for the first 3 seconds, and then it's going to become a noodle fight right after that. TSM aren't able to rip through the front line of Gravity with base stats and gold advantage.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be very prolonged, which goes in Gravity's favor.
Oh, almost. He gets through safely. St. Vicious feels like he smells something out of place, though, in this. Dyrus should be able to claw his way out. There's the ultimate. And he actually flashed. Flag and Drags get back on that one. It's going to be held from both sides. Dyrus should be going down here. So, oh, wait a minute. Oh, also missed the Winter's Bite. A Flash Glacial Fissure, if I've ever seen one coming out of Buddy Foo Foo.
That doesn't line up lore-wise. Just killed the ice switch with ice. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
Colder ice beats cold ice.
They actually see so many people are up top. TSM answer with this bottom tier 2 turret. They are prioritizing turrets over picks, which is what they want to do, not compositionally, but as a team, that's what they aim to do. And then they're like, okay, maybe we'll get picks later on. Maybe we'll team fight them and dive them. But they haven't had those opportunities just yet.
And Gravity's very much playing for the moment there, not kind of thinking ahead. 2 ults and a flash just to pick up Dyrus, who can safely get himself out of those situations all the time. It's like he always has a flash up, so it might be even harder for Gravity to keep doing these things.
Well, his flash is down right now, which is pretty big. He's 0-3 on that top lane Lissandra. Is TSM going to give Lissandra the first loss of the North American LCS?
Oh dear.
Against all odds. But
pressure.
I do want to touch on St. Vicious right now. 100% kill participation for his team. He's been a big facilitator on the counter ganking and the showing up to these fights. And Cop, same story. Most of the kills are on him. He's going to be able to shred through these towers fairly early.
Yeah, it's a good point. We also said he has a bit of that front line now with the protection of Braum. Maokai getting tanky. That's Sivir's ultimate off, but they're not really connecting with what they want. They're just getting pokes onto Hanser, and they'll take it. That's what they say. TSM didn't want to go too far into that one, but if there's another straggler, they're going to take it. St. Vicious gets caught out on this one. Dyrus comes in with the claw from the left side and picks one up for himself, and they get that. They lose nothing.
Those are the type of skirmishes that TSM want. They want to be able to avoid Keen poking them out for a very long time. Sivir ulti engage, run at them. St. Vicious was in the back of the fight the entire time, and he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing that fight. Like, I would love to see a replay of him and what he did in that fight, because he just walked around in circles and then EQs over the wall because they forced him off to the left. And then he went, oh, I have to be in this fight, ran back middle, and he's like, oh, wait, no, this fight's over, and he has to EQ out, and he dies.
Indecisiveness, we'll see just on the side here what you were talking about.
He's up here. This is St. Vicious's damage output in this fight.
So he's considering Lust... Oh.
Abort.
So,
Abort.
Considering Lustboy's ultimate maybe within that, and seeing that his team dodged out way too far, but I feel like that's one of those kind of like Cali trolls, like, let's just take a situation. It's going to be better than not, right?
Well, Hanser was pretty much sacrificing himself so the rest of his team could get away.
That's true. That's true. So at that point, you turn away.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going in, guys. I'm a hero.
Yeah.
Save everybody else, but they did focus on him enough to stop their pursuit. And that's about the best that Gravity could have walked away from that fight with, because of the fact that the hard engage comp was going in.
Well, looking a bit at St. Vicious as well as Bunny Fufu's inventory. Double Sightstone all the way. They're going to try to keep this vision up, being a bit behind, and get themselves back into this game, because a lot of what we saw TSM doing was just kind of walking straight through the jungle, which they would have free reign to do. Clearing that pink ward, there's really nothing on the side of Gravity to give them vision.
TSM, a lot of their wards right now are defensive and around objectives.
Yeah.
And Gravity are able to reclaim kind of this territory that used to be theirs.
This is good. This is good.
Gravity has been pretty offensive this game in pushing up the map. They were on that tier 2. Both teams are done with outer turrets, so they have to advance into enemy territory, and both teams are very susceptible to flanks. TSM's team wants to flank you, but if one of their squishies is flanked out, they just get obliterated very quickly because of the nature of playing a squishy champion. Gravity, on the other hand, they want to keep Cop safe. A lot of their gold is allocated onto him, and they want to make it so that Keen stays deathless still.
Darius will teleport up. Looks like he may start to go towards top lane, or he may have enough money to actually get something to really provide some damage in this fight. I don't know if he'll be back in time. He tries to instantly teleport. They're going to be able to see this coming in.
Oh!
The dragon gets hit up. No way! Bjergsen takes the dragon. He's still in the mix, and Gravity's health bars are just getting blown apart right now. 3 are already down. TSM is having a heyday here, 24 minutes in. That's a double kill for Bjergsen, the triple kill for him, and he may come over for... No, he's not. He's just mid lane pushing. Haunter is actually going to be able to walk out of this one as TSM has good focus to start going for more objectives.
They had just a huge team fight right in front of the Dragon. Bjergsen stealing it with a Razor shirt. TSM just keep getting these steals with basic abilities. They're just like, whoop, throw Wild Turtle Rocket, fine. Go ahead, throw a Shuriken, fine. Now they get themselves a Baron, and there's no way an ability is going to steal this.
When you're not there, I miss you, says Saint.
Good callback.
Oh, man.
Yeah. The big part of this, though, is the fight on the right. Cop locked up, knocked up, right into Bjergsen after that. Glacial Tomb?
Yep.
Frozen Tomb, I guess.
Frozen Tomb, yeah.
Glacial Prison to Sejuani. They're like really nice ways to say the same thing. But yeah, so throwing out the Frozen Tomb.
Yeah.
Then he gets Assault and Batteried. It's right onto most of the gold of Gravity. Really good target selection there by TSM. And then Cop is like, all right, I got to get out of here. Flash into Bjergsen.
With Dyrus coming in so late, I thought Gravity was actually going to have a good start to that fight. Like,
they had to focus on the Dragon.
They did. As low as they had it, and so did Bjergsen, hitting it for himself.
I guess it kind of goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. When you're doing a Dragon and you're trying to burst it down, you use a lot of your abilities on the Dragon and not on the enemy team.
Right.
And then Cop puts himself in a situation where he has to be in auto attack range of the Dragon while being flanked. So his positioning is very poor at that point. You're able to capitalize on it. They don't even get the Dragon for themselves.
And we're seeing the result now of TSM winning that fight, pushing up all of their wards, taking control of both sides of the map slowly. And it's only going to be a matter of time until they're on the inhibitor. Gravity's still very much in this game. Things are looking grim, though, and now as the lead grows to about 8,000 in favor of Team SoloMid, we're seeing more and more gold leads here as we get deeper and deeper into the season. Teams are figuring out what to do, when to do it, to keep a lead and not have these plateau situations we've been seeing from time to time.
Nobody's hitting a plateau anytime soon on TSM.
No,
they are
sir.
way ahead of the curve. Bjergsen is almost level 16, and he is split pushing. 80 CS up over his lane opponent.
Yeah.
He's found a new lane opponent. He's like, I'm 100 CS over you, Haunter.
Want a new challenger. Haunter, even, like you said, Glacial Shroud on him. Keep him tanky. Keep him spitting out spells with a bit of cooldown there, but very much so items behind on the side of Gravity.
Yeah, a lot of burst potential here from Bjergsen, just solo. Nobody on Gravity can duel him at all. He is level 16, rank 3 ultimate. Youmu's double actives here. He is ready to rumble with anybody who comes to answer him on this turret, that he's going to be able to knock it down slowly but surely as they wave clear the middle. Because Keen is their biggest wave clear device here on Gravity. He has to go where the waves are pushing. If he goes to where Bjergsen is, he's going to be popping his zones very quickly.
Yeah. We'll see everything being used in defense in the future here for Gravity.
3-1-1 here in terms of pushing.
Yeah, the Baron's going to make this very, very difficult to handle for Gravity.
This is how you use Baron buff, though. Gravity, their engage is really questionable against something like Wild Turtle. You're going to see it here. They can't really start a fight on him.
Right.
Lustboy comes down. He's like, okay, I'm here for protection in case they engage on you. Because they don't have many engage options aside from just Haunter flashing in. But look at this. Woo! They do catch Turtle.
But if they do go hard enough, they can get the kill that they need. I was just about to say, we talked a little bit about their wave clear, which is coming into play, but not all lanes have that wave clear. So it's really good that they were actually about to make a play there because they were getting pushed in hard.
Yeah, Turtle goes for where the base gates are, and,
right.
and he just gets funneled in on by everybody from Gravity minus Haunter.
You got to watch the trap door, man.
See here, hits the stun in transit.
That's like a hook shot.
Oh yeah, all the ultimates there just like boom, 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 boom. And he's gone. There's a flag in his body, too.
What were they like?
Boom, 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 boom. Claim the Sivir in the name of St. Vicious.
I like that. Minute 30 on to Dragon. Wild Turtle gets claimed there, but he will be back up. Looks like he's going for a Bloodthirster as well, so they can keep these fights that, like you said, may go long if they have to kite it out, and then it would be in favor of Gravity. They are pushing up, which is nice. They've actually gotten mid, past river. Top is almost in the same position, which gives a little bit of breathing room here for them to set their wards back up. They have done so as well. It's good to see teams not forgetting the small things, because it can just turn to shambles when you do.
Yeah, they need the ward control, but getting the ward control down is still dangerous because of the pick comp from TSM. You have to respect that. So many people, even today, have been caught warding just for the information.
You need it's three. You need 3 people.
Yes.
Or maybe the whole team.
You probably need the whole team at this point. You can go ahead and place a ward, make sure you don't get picked off by this TSM squad.
I think we would make a chart for that. Be like, past 25 minutes, you're warding with 4.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes, you could do 2. 1 minute, you might want 2 still.
Yeah, for every person you see on the map, that's 1 person off of how many you need in order to win. So you see Bjergsen bottom? Okay, we can at least have 4 go.
Looking at options Gravity has.
They're shoving the bottom wave out here from TSM, so you have to answer it, or that wave just goes to, I don't even know where gold just kind of, they go into the other minions' pockets. You know, they kill each other and pick up some gold.
Rift tax.
Yes, there you go. The Rift takes it and giveth and it taketh away, but look at this Gravity looking for a fight here. Are they going to get flanked by TSM, or are they just going to choose to shove middle because they have that turret up?
I feel like the bushwhacks aren't really working for anybody today. Standing in a brush has just gotten teams completely obliterated. Right now, TSM's going to be able to walk and just dance around this one. They take Dragon for themselves. Second one there. 4 in the game total, so we're at 2-2.
You just give up early Dragons, take turrets and a lead for yourself, and then just get the later Dragons because they can't
not a problem.
Early Dragons are not extremely important. You need a lead in gold to go along with it. It's a big thing here, and TSM really seem to understand that. Gravity couldn't even approach. They couldn't walk into that because they had no vision. They used some scrying orbs, but it still wasn't enough. It's not enough for them to be like, all right, we're going to go in half blind because you don't know where Dyrus is. You don't know where he's going to flank from. You don't know where Bjergsen is exactly. And Santorin, you have to account for him too. There's just so many threats on this team across the board that you need perfect information, but TSM are still denying it with their sweepers.
Something TSM has been good at this year. Bjergsen's stealing the kind of the spotlight, but you can always point to a person throughout a game and say they contributed, and it's really offering TSM just a lot throughout the split.
Yeah, and you talked about contribution. Lustboy is the only Sightstone on this team, yet they have had impeccable ward control.
Yeah, that's true.
Santorin did not go with a Sightstone. You see double Sightstone on Gravity, but their vision control in comparison is paling.
Yeah. Well, TSM definitely needing to play good within this game. Facing off against Counterlogic Gaming tomorrow is going to be no easy task, and they looked good today as well. So it's fitting to see that these guys have been playing throughout the split very, very well.
The style clash that'll happen. TSM look like they haven't treated this game as a trap game. They're going in.
That's all they needed. A button right there. Dyrus was going around the outside. He throws the Zanya's on. He hasn't, I don't believe, been able to ult just yet, but he goes down, and we see he's the first. Now, St. Vicious and Keen are actually falling quite fast, and they are now out of the fight. There goes Cop. The crowd is cheering Team SoloMid on as they put the final touches on this 32-minute fight. Bunny Fufu flashes from the Vault Breaker, and it looks like they're going to be able to get themselves a turret here. The wave actually crashing in mid into another minion wave, so they're a bit slowed down. That might just be a Baron.
A 4-for-1 this late in the game. TSM, they're able to pick up a Baron immediately after, but Dyrus with the flank. He was already in position to make this play.
He was ready to die in that one, too.
I really like TSM's forethought, where they're thinking a minute ahead. Dyrus is like, I'm going to be on this side, I'm going to TP here, so that I can make this play happen, make it a reality, instead of being like, oh no, I should have been flanking there, and having to play things on the fly. So Gravity are really playing TSM's thing. You can see, he TP's in here,
and so deep already.
And then Sivir ultimate gets popped. He's already TPing when Sivir ultimate gets popped. So he just rushes in with his home guard boots into the fight. So he is the first person into the core of it. They make Keen pop his Zonias, but Keen is almost rendered a non-factor in this game. He's down in CS.
Yeah.
He's basically a target that they will Zonias and target swap off of onto Cop. But his contribution is rather low because they are not getting in these poke situations that Xerath excels in, because TSM are not letting them have those situations. As soon as they see themselves in it, Sivir ulti.
Whoa, there it is. Assault and Battery goes down into the Vault Breaker, and that is what pure lockup looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Wild Turtle comes up with a kill for himself, and he starts to nicely extend that 500 career kills just a little bit more.
They're shoving up the bottom wave now, but Hanser has to go answer for Bjergsen. Again, he's doing the split push Z strategy, 7-1 and 5, i.e. he's going to go after this tank.
He's going quite hard. He actually flashes forward to finalize the damage, and he pulls right back to the alt shadow. Oh, one, dodging back and forth, the fancy feet. coming in nicely. Keen says, I need a dance partner, and Bjergsen obliges nicely. 34 minutes into this one, Team SoloMid is using quite an advantage here from the early game to continuously pressure the entire map and just giving Gravity a hard time with a 15,000 gold lead that they're working with. It's going to be another inhibitor turret here as Irene. They are pushing hard.
They have this bottom wave already coming up too, but they want to play this systematically. They want to clear out everything. You can't go through that base gate, Turtle. That's not your base.
He's like, maybe if I spell shield, I can walk through it. Phase through. Not going to happen. So Wild Turtle, today I learned, he says, I think. He gets out of that one safely.
He's just jealous of Dyrus going straight over.
Look, yeah, he just kind of frowned if you could see his face.
His team left.
Looking back at the early game, we really saw something different from Team SoloMid, giving Dyrus the blue to continuously just queue the camps for Santorin.
They caught Keen with his pants down here. Bunny Fufu's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Keen's like, I'm trying to kill Bjergsen. Looking 2 screens away.
Yeah.
You can't see the Lissandra ulti on you on your own screen.
You just see that hand come in.
Yep.
It's about to bring you back to the beginning of the level. Look out. Look out. 35 minutes in, Team SoloMid pushing down mid lane. Like I was saying, the early game from Santorin and Dyrus to give Dyrus the blue buff and then fly through the jungle and really take as much as they could. It was nicely played.
And then they kept the tank down of Hanser
so
that he can't absorb the damage there and ever deal with Bjergsen and stall time. Really, really good drafting here by TSM and execution of their composition. Gravity, on the other hand, they kind of fell into TSM's trap.
Oh, yeah.
TSM had this plan very early on from Champions League. You can see it coming together, and Gravity fell into that.
Yeah.
As soon as Gravity picked up 2 tanks, they're like, all right, we're going dive. We're going to get Cop, we're going to get Keen. And they're going to avoid the point and click.
Avoid the point and click just one more time. That's all that stands is this inhibitor turret before they get onto the Nexus. The Dragon is alive, so if they do want to go ahead and take something after this and not waste any time, they can go do that. Wild Turtle takes out the turret.
Oh,
wow, Bjergsen's actually taken down just off on the side here. That's shut down from Cop, putting out big damage. He may have actually gotten, actually no, Bjergsen did not ult. I was going to say he Quicksilver sashed it off, but he still has the use of it. TSM may look like they still want to fight, regardless of having Bjergsen or not. Going in onto Dyrus. Hanser fights hard. Wild Turtle's going to go down on this one, and they get themselves into a pretty bad situation here. TSM may be ahead, but they're now starting to make some mistakes.
Their base is taking a little bit of damage, but they're still just going to go straight for this inhibitor. Cop, really their only damage source left. Keen, he's running out of mana here. Whew. Can you get him? Nope. Dyrus is scot-free.
Thought he was going to get stuck in the wall there.
A lot of this is off of Bjergsen dying. He was off on the side and Saint EQ'd in, and then they just piled on top of him and picked him off. Then TSM stayed a little bit longer than they should have, and it was the engage that they paid for.
20-12 at 37 minutes. Gravity's getting some kills in these fights, but they lose so much every time it happens, and TSM's pretty much okay with that at this point. They know it's a good team fight coming in from Gravity, and there's going to be some losses as they go in.
Bjergsen did not expect that, and he W'd over the wall before St. Vicious EQ'd in, and then he's like, well, I guess I have to take my shadow into the team, and then just got blown up. TSM, I'm a little scared for them because they're kind of phoning this in at this point. I mean, they can because it's 15K gold.
Yeah,
15K
for sure.
Gold lead. But plays like that will get punished so quickly if you're split pushing. And you saw it there from Gravity. They immediately punish that play and get another kill on top of it. But if you were equal in gold, if you were against a team that had been holding up with you or a team that had drafted a different composition for themselves that could handle this, you would be so punished for that. That would have been Dragon falling over to the enemy team. They would have been able to accomplish a lot more. So TSM, it's a game that they are in the lead for, but it's not as clean as it could have been. Or could be.
Yeah.
It's still going on.
Well, Gravity is definitely putting up a fight here towards the end of the game. Showing a little bit stronger. Like I said, though, each time TSM is able to grab that much more, 57,000 to 73,000 right now. That's in the inventories. That's in the hands of Team SoloMid, and we're going to see that power on the HP bars of Gravity here in just a few
going.
seconds. Keen's going to get the first taste of it. Bjergsen's going to get hit up as well. Takes his shadow back. He's getting the turret all to himself, and he tanked it just to the last second. The team cannot follow under these turrets with him, though. Wild Turtle on the outside, nicely focusing the stragglers that flash out. He goes for one, almost gets two, but Cop's healing on the fountain, and TSM is really actually struggling to put this fight together. With Wild Turtle down, they don't have too much to get onto the turrets. Santorin with one last vault breaker in. They were just reassessing the fight and how they wanted to retake it. That's the next Nessus turret. Game 5 is going to be ending quite soon here. If TSM can put the final touches onto the Nexus turret, Dyrus goes in, almost goes down. Cop hits him. Santorin is doing all he can to the Nexus, and it is not going to be enough. Gravity stay alive, but for how long?
They're just going to have to forget about TSM, start thinking about all these minions. It's Gravity versus minions at this point.
Definitely a tough fight there. Imagine if these fights were going on outside the base. We'd have such a different game where Gravity could really have an edge to come back. But since TSM has done this on the front step, it's just going to be a matter of time before they enter back in. Far items ahead. A Talisman of Ascension picked up on Lustboy with Captain Boots, as well as already having the Sivir ulti. They're saying in. Let's go. And that's what these fights look like. Let's take a look again.
This is another case of trying to phone it in here. He gets the crits onto Keen, he gets the damage, then Keen Zonia's, and then Bjergsen takes a ton of damage. He almost gets dropped here, but then it just trails off the fight. There's a lot of things going on, and the communication is definitely not clear. Dyrus dives and takes a ton of damage. He does survive, but then Turtle walks up and gets destroyed by Cop, who healed himself up, and then Cop walks back in, and he's like, oh yeah, I brought some crits with me today. Walks up, pops some people later on, but it's just such a long fight that he walks around and is able to pick up another person. So TSM, during that time though, they're able to get the Baron, while Gravity are having to deal with the minions in their base.
And I always love seeing Turtle at the end game, right? He'll play laning phase so safe, but then we see him as Tristana, hopping over the wall by himself. Sivir flashing towards the fountain with people. It's like there's this switch that turns on for Turtle in the late game where he's like, I disregard all danger, fight.
He gets wild.
Sometimes, yes, he gets
First
wild.
he turtles, then he gets wild.
It's so true. It's so true. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes he goes down like that, but he did valiantly take one down with him. Looking to put last inhibitor down. Once again, Team SoloMid pushing in through the top side here. And Cop doing the rest that he can to clear out the waves. It'll only be a matter of time before Team SoloMid can really get to the Nexus once more, and it hasn't even fully healed up.
Yeah, they had to wait for Bjergsen picking up his Ravenous Hydra. He wants to clear these waves and get to this Nexus. Nexus versus
it has
TSM.
healed up.
Oh.
It's going to be the fight, Cyrene. Bjergsen gets exploded immediately. He goes down. It's 67 seconds on the clock. It's going to mean a lot can be taken from these fights.
For it.
Santorin has a vendetta with the Nexus right now.
Turtle.
He goes straight for it. Lustboy blows everybody back with a Monsoon. That's going to be the game ender. Just a few more punches, and Team SoloMid finalize the game at 42 minutes and end Week 4, Day 1 with the win.
Definitely some late game mistakes from TSM. And going into their game against CLG with the stage set for sole possession of first place.
That's nice.
You have to look back at this. And this is one of those victories where you can go, all right, we didn't close that out as well as we could have. Could have been punished there. So TSM, it's not all roses for them right now, regardless of it being Valentine's Day.
It's not all roses, but I'm sure Gravity, or rather CLG, is looking at that early game Lissandra and Vi to take the blue and then dip right into Gravity's jungle, steal your Raptor, steal your red, and we thought they were actually going to go for a bottom lane gank, but they didn't get overzealous. They turned back to their own side and kept the lead going that they had in the beginning of the game. Gravity looked pretty strong coming out, but it was just TSM with too much power. They had the idea with the comp to poke. They saw what TSM was doing, so it's not really in champion pick and bans where Gravity is faltering. They're just getting kind of taken apart on the map over time.
Yeah, a lot of stragglers, a lot of like
the
vision control.
We saw those fights in the replays.
Yeah, the vision control as well is not on like where it should be for Gravity right now. They need to sharpen it up, especially when they have 2 sight stones and you're not getting the type of vision that can rival a team that only has one sight stone and they're just pocket purchasing a bunch of wards.
Right. Things like the home guard teleport in
that was
shouldn't happen with 2 sight stones out. You should have that covered. And while they did up to the top, they didn't have their side covered. What was covered was what they actually had just done and didn't adapt their wards further.
Yeah, it threw me off at one point. I was like, oh, he's invading. I'm like, no, that's actually his side of the jungle. It really hasn't been his, though, because TSM took sole possession of almost the entire map very early on off of taking turrets. It's turret takes and wards. You don't really have to care too much about those early dragons. You will reclaim them later on, but if you get those early turrets, you get more area to actually lay wards. You don't have to worry about somebody diving you, and then you have to walk past a turret. You get to get all of that extra room to navigate through the jungle.
A lot of things worked in favor for TSM this game. Coming out of picks and bans, Bunny Fufu wasn't on something that could, like we said, do that level 2 roam, blow a flash in mid. Maybe he wouldn't on Zed, but there's a lot more pressure from earlier comps we've seen from Gravity coming out of picks and bans.
Yeah, he didn't go with the Thresh here. He went for the Braum defensive. I think they were playing TSM's game when they saw the dive comp.
The dive.
Like, we have to be defensive here. We have to set him up with something that can help the team and help peel for Cop. It did work for them a little bit. Cop actually had a good scoreline that game.
It's true.
Most of the early kills were fed onto him. And it's just one of those things where even though Cop is dealing so much damage, it's so hard to keep him alive against 3 people who are going to dive you, and the Sivir's going to back them up too. So even if you flash, they're still going to close that distance with just movement speed.
It looks tough, and it was tough for them. But right now we are going to check in with Freak, who's Rift side, with the newest member of the 500 Kill Club.
Hey guys, welcome. I've got Wild Turtle here. Your 3rd kill that game was your 500th North American LCS. You can hear the crowd loves you for that one. Now, I've heard TSM called a mid-focus team. It's about Bjergsen. Bjergsen carries every single game, but 500 kills for you. You put up a ton of work. What do you think TSM's really about?
I think maybe last split, TSM was more of a mid-focus team, but this split, we're all playing more of a team now, and I've definitely gotten a lot better. I wasn't very, I lost a lot of, my skills last year. And then, I'm just coming up again. So,
well, I got to say, so far you're doing really awesome. So you and the rest of TSM, top of the standings, tied for 1st place. Who do you see as the big threats to sort of upset you off your throne?
Cloud9 is still coming up, and I think Dig is getting really good too if they get their act together. They just got a new jungler, so if they can come together with team synergy, they might be a big threat too. But C9 is coming up again, and
All right, well, you do have one more threat, though, ahead of you guys. Tomorrow, a battle for 1st place, Counterlogic Gaming. You guys have been looking forward to that match all week, I assume. What's that going to entail? What's that going to be like?
Honestly, it's what we've been talking about all the time. We're like, we got to beat CLG this time. They're really good, and we're really good, and we just really want to go head-to-head. So CLG is our biggest rival right now.
All right, so one final question. We know there's the bet, whoever wins, the enemy manager has to dye their hair pink. But I want to ask you, whose hair would look better pink, Reginald or Hotshot GG?
I think Hotshot would look better in pink, but I think it would be funnier having Reggie in pink because you never really see him in pink, and it's really funny.
All right, so for the lulz, you guys are going to lose the game. Turtle, thank you very much for your time. Congrats on the win. We'll see you tomorrow in the battle for 1st place. But for now, we're going to break down the game further at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Freak. I again want to extend our congratulations to Wild Turtle for crossing that 500 career kills mark. That's quite an accomplishment. A solid win by TSM. Definitely some hiccups there in the end game. I do want to touch on, though...
Style hiccups.
It's also some style hiccups, exactly.
I was wondering, why didn't Bjergsen buy sort of the cult this game? And then I was like, he was planning on diving a lot.
No, because he needed a Hydra, of course, on top to go over 500 AD. I do want to talk about, though, something that has plagued other teams that TSM did very well in this game, which is tower dives. Yeah. We've seen some failed tower dives in the past really cost teams. TSM executed a great tower dive bottom and then had the initiative to follow Maokai to the top lane and repeat the same thing to really take great advantages.
Their early game lane swapping was actually really solid. It's something they were really weak on in week 1, and it's became a bit of a strong point for them in this game. Not to mention, this is one of the times where they started the mid lane with just Bjergsen. There was no Bjergsen Santorin thing there. They actually did diversify a little bit and have a very strong early game.
Yeah, I mean, while they did do the early game a lot stronger than usual, when they came together at first for their first team fight, it was a little bit disjointed. We do have a replay. This is around the Dragon. Now, this team is all about diving in on the high priority targets and taking them out, but when you have some miscommunication here, Santorin goes on a different target from Bjergsen and Dyrus.
Yep.
And this is also a perfect example of why every single time Lissandra is picked, I mentioned how she's squishy and she relies on the invulnerabilities to actually make anything happen in this fight. You can see Dyrus this early on with focusing all on cooldown and he has 0 defense stats on this Lissandra. And he gets blown up before his ultimate goes off. So if your Lissandra ultimate doesn't go off and your Vi ult's a tank jungler on the other side, that's where this squad is going to run into problems. Because Bjergsen's, he's got his eyes on the priority targets. He's going after AD carry, AP carry. But if there's no follow-up, the Dyrus ultimate's not going to be there and Santorin's not there.
And the two of their huge damage threats, their dive threats, Bjergsen and Dyrus, they also lined up for the Xerath. In chasing down the Graves and the Xerath, they kind of lined up and they took more damage as opposed to, playing angles.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Maokai is one of the best counters to melee AD carries, like Zed and Kha'Zix. He shuts them down so easily because you get instant targeted stun, and then he reduces all their damage. So
it was just a really sloppy fight by TSM. Some sloppiness in the game, but overall, they did have a lot of control.
Right, I was going to say, they did then manage to kind of regroup around what their comp is good at in utilizing the Sivir ultimate. And we do have another replay. I want to pull that one up, and Jat's going to walk us through, the strengths of this comp.
Yeah, this was a classic example, I believe, of Sivir teams not being able to be flanked. Let's just roll the clip right here because St. Vicious gets lost around the backside. Gravity is only 4 people there because Saint was also hoping to plan a fight, but Sivir runs away from St. Vicious with everyone. They can't get a clean counter engage on because not only do they have the Sivir for move speed, they do have the Janna to reset a fight afterwards. Saint's completely off on his own, and it's just a formality for him to die after this one. This is all Sivir and all TSM just being on the same page. That's what kind of gave him control back in the game.
When you're facing a team like this that TSM drafted, you have to always be ready for that Sivir all-in. If you split up and you try and flank them, and you guys are split up, then they're just going to charge one of the sides, and oh no, we're outnumbered.
Well,
oh no.
Loco Doco tweeted out, "This is so messy" during the game. So even some words from the coach there, kind of maybe a little bit apprehensive about the cohesion of the players within the team.
Hey, what's important? Both TSM and COG won today. For as far as these guys are considered, they avoided the trap games, if not for a little bit of sloppiness in both of them. I mean, COG's game at the start of the day, they looked like they were going to lose to Coast for a little bit. And this one, there was a pretty bad lost team fight by TSM.
All right, well, you already mentioned one of our big matchups tomorrow. Let's pull up the standings. Right now, we have CLG and Team SoloMid tied for first, as Jat said, setting up a big showdown tomorrow. And then we've got Cloud9 and Liquid sharing third place. And, of course, in fifth, we still have a 4-way tie, followed by Dignitas in ninth place. And in last, with 1 win, it's Coast. Looking at tomorrow's schedule, though, we will be starting off the day with Winter Fox versus Cloud9. Then Team Impulse will be taking on Team Coast. After that, it's our marquee matchup between longtime rivals Counterlogic Gaming and Team SoloMid as they battle it out for sole possession of first place. And if those stakes aren't high enough for you, remember, one of the team's owners, well, their hair is on the line. The loser's going to have to dye their hair pink. You do not want to miss it. You can catch our coverage here starting at noon Pacific, 9 p.m. Central European. Now for myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
All the bets revolve around your head.
Because when the moon hits your eye, that's amore.
Coast, make that one happen. Ooh. Wow, they jump in on top of a ward.
You got this. He's off the match. Chris.
CLG survive and remain in first place. The front line gets eviscerated. Leona's gone. Giant AoE comes out, though maybe Impulse can turn this one, but it looks like not. Winter Fox find their 3rd win of the season. The flashing gang lands onto everybody. Is the fight going to be enough, though? High comes into the back line, looks for Corjay. C9 looking back on the form.
Wait around for it. Oh, no, Skara. You had one job, Skara. That's all you had to do.
Come on. He's waiting for you.
He's gonna call him back out. Skara, the noob coach. There we go.
Oh, man. Dodo gets popped there. The solar flare goes down, burns out Dodo, and they're going to have what they need here. Team Liquid take down Team 8 here in week 4. Bjergsen takes the dragon. He's still in the mix. And Gravity's health bars are just getting blown apart right now. The alt shadow. Oh, what? Dodging back and forth. The fancy feet coming in nicely. Team SoloMid and Week 4 Day 1 with the win.